that I still remember from my mother when I was a child. So she was telling me that you should go to a school and you should educate. Not it means to earn money, but she was constantly was telling me that you should go to a school to become a good human beings.
So, welcome to Teman Bicara Damay. Thank you so much, Nazeer, for coming here today. So, it really, I'm so happy for seeing you today. So, uh, now, to the open my podcast, can you tell about yourself, where you come from, and what you are doing? So, in other people know about you.
Yeah, thank you so much again for having me in this nice talk. I'm really happy to be with you today. So, my name is Nazeer and my last name is Rasuli. Originally, I'm from Afghanistan and I was born in a family where my parents didn't have formal education. So I'm the first person in my family that had the chance to have access to educations and uh, doing my formal education. So I did my high school and undergraduate studies. I mean, it means my bachelor degrees both in Afghanistan. So I did my bachelor degrees in economics and development. And then I did an MA degree in education, leadership, and management that just I graduated last year from Bangladesh. And at the moment, I'm doing another master degree in Islamic societies and civilization in the Institute of Ismaili Studies and SWAS universities in London.
Mhm. Wow. So that's great. So as I know, as far I know that you are really into education. So to open the discussion, I wanna ask you what's the meaning of education for you? You mentioned before that your parents didn't have formal education. You are the first person who did it. So what's the meaning
Yeah,
of education? Yeah.
yeah, thank you. This is a very nice questions, and the word education I really love whenever I'm hearing, whenever I'm thinking, and whenever I see the people talk about educations. I really must like to be there and to hear from them and to learn from them. So regarding what does the word education mean to me personally, for me, educations like other physiological needs survive. We need for water, we need for food, we need for clothing, we need for a shelter. So like these needs, personally, I think that education is a fundamental and a basic human needs for everyone. And in order to grow, in order to flourish in our life, so we have to have education. Education is a must. And personally, I think that without education, I cannot imagine a life, because we are living in 21st century. In order to grow, in order to flourish, in order to survive, in order to know the meaning of our life, we need to have education. And this is what I think about education.
Wow, I love your perspective about education is like basic human, right? Our basic human needs that
Yeah.
everyone should have. So now the next question is, do you think it is important for women to have higher education? What do you think?
Yeah, it's really important, as I mentioned earlier, that I born in a family that, however, my parents both they didn't have formal education, but my father had informal education and he was able to read and write. But my mother even didn't have that informal education, but still I am very happy to have a mother. However, he didn't
Mhm.
a formal education, but he inspired me from my childhood that in order to become a good person, you need to have education. This is the sentence that I still remember from my mother when I was a child. So she was telling me that you should go to a school and you should educate. Not it means to earn money, but she was constantly was telling me that you should go to a school to become a good human beings.
Oh.
So, this is how it means my life started as a child. It means how I inspired it means towards education. So now coming to your education, to your question. So basically, as earlier I said that like other physical needs, in order to survive, we need to have educations, whether it means there are women or men. So for both gender, it's a basic human needs, and it's a must that everyone should have access, and everyone should have the opportunity to have educations in this world. And now, if we see, it means the world populations, according to the statistics, around almost, it means 47 plus 99, or I can say it means around 50% of the world populations are women. So now it's a must that women should have educations. And I would like to answer also these questions in light of my just my dissertation that I did. It means a few months ago. I did my dissertation on the socioeconomic impact of higher education on private university graduates in Afghanistan. So I wanted to see, it means the impact of higher education on the individuals. I found and I came up with something very interesting at the end of my dissertation. So basically, the women, it means they had a perceptions toward education. They were thinking that education is a pathway, it means, for them for a prosperous life. In order to have, it means, a better life, they were seeing education that is a window. So they were thinking about education, that education can increase, it means, social awareness, and it ensure peaceful and sustainable societies. They were thinking, this is the perceptions of those women and girls, that they had access to education in the past 20 years in Afghanistan. This is just an example, and I'm sure that it applies in other contexts as well. And they were thinking that education can increase, it means, the awareness on the individual level. If women have education, so it means that half of, it means, the world populations will have, it means, educations, and this helps them, it means, to create peaceful and sustainable societies. This is what it means the women's looking towards educations. And also the women's thinking that having access to education enables them, it means, to promote their social status in the family, in the community. So these were what I found from my dissertations from my research. And also they were thinking that most of my research participants that I did my research, so I asked them that most of them had access to education and they finished their undergraduate studies. So I was asking that I wanted to see, it means, how it means the education impacted their life. So I found that education improved drastically their quality of life. So first of all, when they had access to education, so it changed their life entirely, because it provided them, the education served them to have access to other services. Education drastically improved their quality of life, because as I mentioned them, so education served them, it means, to have better careers. And also we know that there is a direct relation between education and employment. So pretend when a woman have a better education, so she will have access to better employment opportunities, and better employment opportunities will ensure them, it means, higher incomes, and higher incomes will lead, it means, to a financial independence for them. So this is how it means they express it means the impact of higher education for themselves. And this is how it means I saw that education really it means change the human lives, it means the woman's life. So the only education is the only force that it can change it means the lives in a positive way.
Hmm. Wow, that's so great. So first, that I love your mom's word. Like, she taught to you that you are going to school because not to earn money, but for be a good human being. So, and the second one, I love your dissertation and the impact. And why I ask this question? Because Nazir, like I don't know, it's my culture or not, but sometimes like men feeling insecure, or like they think that as a woman, like woman married just staying at home, cooking, like yeah. So that's why I asked you this question, like the importance of having a higher education for women.
Yeah, yeah, I really it means like the question because now coming it means to our context. So we are Muslims, yeah, whether I'm from
Yeah.
Afghanistan, you are from Indonesia. So we are Muslims. If see it means how it means the concept of educations in Quran, it means the first verse that our Prophet Muhammad received, it was about Iqra, about reading. So
Hmm.
this is it means how it shows it means the importance and the significance of education for us. And unfortunately, there are some misinterpretation of it means the Quran verses and the misinterpretation of the hadiths in the Islamic context. We need to be critical because we have it means the first revelation of our holy book Quran. It's about Iqra. It means you should read. So this
Hmm.
is how it means we should it means we should value it means having access to education as an opportunity for every man without considering their gender,
Hmm.
whether she is a
Man or
woman or
woman.
whether he is a man.
Yeah, I love it. So, so as you know, like maybe for me, I have facilities. I can go to university, but for some women, maybe outside, they cannot go to the formal education because they don't have the facilities, or also they don't have opportunity to get higher education. So, do you have alternative for them to learning something, or yeah?
Yeah, as someone that I'm passionate about education myself, and as far as I know that thanks to the technology in our time, that now education is not limited to the schools and universities. So as far as you have access to a mobile, or as far as you have access even in a remote area to a radio, or
Uh,
it means a computer, so you have the opportunity to learn. And I'm thinking that learning happens anywhere, and we can learn from any person. If
mm-hmm,
as far as we are concerned about learning, whenever we feast with some persons, he or she have something for us, it means that to teach us, or we can learn. If we have it means a learning mind, we can learn someone from him or her. Even beyond that, even if we go to the nature, if we go to it means a street, if you want to have a walk on the streets, if you have a learning mind, if you have it means a concern towards learning, there are much to learn means from the nature, there are much to learn it means from outside. But now it means coming it means particularly to your questions. So those people that they do not have or the women and the girls that they do not have access it means to the opportunity, or it means to the facilities to go, it means get a formal education. Still there is a way. First, as I mentioned, they have it means access to the technology. So because education is not limited it means to school and universities nowadays, so they can learn from anywhere. This is one solution. The next solution is in every family, I'm sure that there are it means two or three it means educated people, whether whether it means if a mother doesn't have, it means, formal education, maybe it means her daughter or her son, or maybe it means her husband have formal education. Instead, it means she has means the opportunity to learn a skill, it means, from them. So there is a way, it means there is a person, there are resources in every family for everyone. It means to teach someone or to learn something from someone. There are opportunities. Even there are other opportunities nowadays. We can see informal education programs like accelerated education programs. There are social hubs. There are means voluntary. There are NGOs that they are doing, it means, some voluntary programs. If the people, it means, if these girls and women have a learning mind, if they have an intentions for learning and new skills, there are many ways it means to get educated.
I see. So there's so many ways. Then
Yeah,
don't stop learning because you can find the way, as Nazir said before or mentioned before. So the last question is like, what's your advice to young people who listen this podcast related education? I think, do you want to share advice or tips, whatever you want? Yeah.
um, just I want to say from my experience in life that nowadays we live in a different world, in a different time. We should be concerned to learn something in order to live, in order to have, it means, uh, a good life. We need to learn a skill, whatever skills it is, or whatever our preferences is. We should have, it means, we should be concerned, it means, to learn education, to get, it means, a new skills. And as I said earlier, education is not limited, it means, to a school and universities. If you do not have access to a school and universities, you have access, it means, to, you have a smartphone, you have a computer. So just if you press, it means, one button, a lot of doors will be opened for you, it means, to get educations. And also I would like to conclude, it means, what my discussions with a quote that I really like from, there is a religious guy, a religious person by the name of Sultan Mahomed Shah. He was from India, and he was an advocate of family education. In one of his famous speech, he was telling that if, as a parent, if you had, it means, two children, a daughter and a son. So if you could afford to educate one, you should choose your daughter over your son. Because if you educate your son, you educate one person. If you
If you educate your daughter, it means you educate
entire family. So this is how it means. This is how it means. It highlights the importance of education for women, and we as a man should try to provide the opportunity of education and learning for our sisters, for our wives, for our moms, and for our friends. Yeah, this is what I said. Thank you.
Wow, that's so beautiful, Nazir. I love how passionate you are to talk about education. That's why I invite you come here. That's my mini podcast, Teman Bicara Damay.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really liked, and it was good to have this discussion with you. What you're doing is a good work. Just continue.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nazir. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.